And it's the dumbest bill in America, and it is installing trackers on guns. Yes, you heard that correctly. Installing trackers on guns. HB House Bill 704 in the incredibly left-wing communist state of Maryland, put in by Delegate Queen of Montgomery County. The bill is titled Firearms Tracking Technology for the purpose of prohibiting a person from engaging in firearm transfers unless each firearm that is part of a bulk firearm transfer contains a certain tracker, requiring a seller or other transferor who engages in a bulk firearm transfer to transmit to the Secretary of State Police certain information, providing that a violation of this act is a civil offense, requiring the Secretary to establish a certain database, and generally relating to tracking technology for firearms. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, you and we, the people in the state of Maryland, anyone who wants to transfer a gun to you, anyone, and they're saying, oh, it's only for bulk firearm transfers. We know how this works. Because bulk means, like 3 or 4 or something like that. We know that they're going to make this apply to all firearm transfers. And they're going to say, well, when a firearm is transferred legally, it can no longer happen now unless there is this device that is on it. And it's an embedded tracker. It's what it says in the bill. I'm going to read this to you. An embedded tracker is defined as an object that is embedded in the frame or receiver of a firearm, emits unique tracking information, and is not readily capable of being removed, disabled, or destroyed without rendering permanently inoperable or destroying the frame or receiver. So, ladies and gentlemen, this means that when you go to use your weapon, it could, in theory, also be what? It could be disengaged by some electronic device. You know why I know this? Because I actually have a friend who called me up last year, the beginning of last year, and I feel bad because I never got back to him, and I'm usually very good at getting back to people. But I just was surprised he had asked this, and he left a long, detailed message. And it's the reason I didn't call back. And here is the message that he left. He said, hey, Mark, it's so-and-so. I haven't called you in a long time. I'm working with a company that wants to put a device on the trigger of firearms, and the device can electronically be used by the police to disengage the weapon so that it could not be used anymore. Well, isn't that the same thing as gutting the Second Amendment? How is it any different? How is this any different? How is putting a tracker on your firearm, which we all know what that means, not just tracking your firearm, it's tracking you. And it's not just tracking you, it's also going to be able to disengage your firearm. I mean, literally, this is the full intent of the bill. How is that not gutting the Second Amendment? Well, of course, because if you live in the state of Maryland or California or Illinois or New York, just as a few examples, these individuals have never read the United States Constitution, or if they have, they don't agree with it at all. They don't support the Constitution of the United States. They don't even know why the Second Amendment is in its place, because they would rather prosecute you, the good guy, than put the bad guys in jail permanently. So Larry Keene tweets out, Maryland lawmakers want sci-fi technology to track your guns in real time. And here's the thing. This technology, without question, does exist. And your government, I am convinced, at the federal level and or the state level, at some point, state by state, certainly blue state by blue state, they're going to try to find ways of putting devices in your gun to disable them. Namely, when the federal government comes for your stuff, because they've run out of money to spend. They've run out of your money to spend that they can take from you, and they come back for everything. And they're like, oh, it's pretty easy to do now. We can just disable the guns. Sure, why not? I mean, they are, by the way, the federal government is going after waiters, by the way. Waiters. So I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this dumbest bill in America is not just dumb, but it is dangerous. It is dangerous because Democrats have realized that they can now create not just a surveillance society, but they can use their surveillance society to gut the Second Amendment by disabling your gun through technology. So they've silenced you on social media. They've shadow banned you on social media. And we know from the Twitter files that's the case. And now you can't even talk about your support of the Second Amendment, because if you do, you're not going to be able to read it anywhere. And now you have HB 704. This is the kind of stuff that is happening in the bluest of blue states across the United States of America, because the Democrats really are no different than the CCP, as far as I'm concerned. On this particular issue, on the issue of Second Amendment and the First Amendment, the Democrats are increasingly more like the CCP than they are the average American. And that's House Bill 704, installing trackers on guns. And that's the dumbest bill in America. And that's it for Mark and the Millennials. Thank you for joining Mark and the Millennials. This is Mark Fisher. Thank you to our producer, Christopher Hopkins. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Truth Social, Rumble, and our website. See you next time.